Welcome to the channel. I'm Casey.
And I'm Kayla.
And this is Night Yard. All legends begin with some truth, and it's up to you to decide what to believe is real and what is simply a story. Today we're going to bring you the legend of one of the most feared creatures out there, and one that honestly scares the daylights out of me. It is the Wendigo. The word Wendigo literally means evil that devours, and this legend can be found all over the northern United States and Canada.
And this creature is truly the apex predator. Its hunting and capture skills are unmatched by any other species. The Wendigo has varying legends and appearances because of its wide range of habitats and lack of eyewitnesses, since few have lived to tell the tale. All legends generally describe the same thing. They are much taller and larger than a average person, extremely lanky, and deathly sharp claws and strong legs. The head varies from a deer skull with antlers to a mutated human head. What is wrong with that?
A lot is wrong with that.
Oh God.
A lot is wrong with that. Because the fact that the head changes but the body doesn't just kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Yeah, it's like a human-like thing with long legs and a mutated skull.
I don't know what creeps me out most, the mutated human head or the stripped down deer skull with the antlers on it. I don't know which one gets me worse.
I think it might be like the lanky arms and...
See, the body doesn't give me as much as the face does.
Yeah, I guess you would have to see the face, and yeah, that would haunt my dreams.
I mean, if it's coming after you, you're never going to have another dream, so it's fine.
That is true. But anyway, the Wendigo is said to always look like it is starving, with its bones showing through its gray skin. And the artistic depictions are truly horrifying. And I highly suggest that you look them up, but not alone or in the dark. And I highly suggest too that no children look
some of
up.
them definitely not suitable for children.
No.
A lot of highly horrifying stuff, a lot of very gruesome stuff in the artist depictions. Definitely would say if you've got kids that want to look it up, be with them, maybe look it up ahead of time and show it to them.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's some pretty bad. There are two legends of the Wendigo that are the ones that are highly known. The first legend is that it's a demon that brings famine, starvation, and winter with it when it comes. It turns people by infecting them or even possessing them. Since the demon, it can body hop, it will possess them. But people can also be turned when they turn to cannibalism and lose all their humanity. It's known to primarily live in the woods and has an insatiable thirst for human flesh, where every time it sees a person, it just has to eat it. Like, there's no other option. That's why nobody lives to really tell the tale, is because all they ever find is remains.
Whew.
Yeah.
Makes me not want to go out in the woods alone anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're only known in certain parts, though.
Primarily. But you know that I track them sometimes, and I've tracked them fairly close to us, and I know that makes me sound crazy, but I'm a believer, and I've tracked a few of them, and I have tracked them fairly close to the area. So even though the legend does state that they're normally in the northern United States and in Canada, they have been known in other places, including documented in Washington and all the way down into Colorado. So anywhere in the middle, not a safe zone either.
Yeah, and if you know, I will not go with you to hunt one.
I'm not about to. Not about to. You just described to everybody how horrifying they are.
That's true.
Do I look like the kind of person that could take on one?
No. Unless you had an army, maybe, but that's about it.
No. This is not the Bigfoot. Where if I go,
That's
I go.
true.
I'm
That's
not
true.
doing it because you wouldn't even get good video footage before it ate both of us. At least with Bigfoot, you would get some pretty good video footage of it eating me.
Yeah, and I could get away.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
You don't escape the Wendigo.
The Wendigo, I'd be dinner too.
Yeah, nobody escapes the Wendigo.
And the second legend that we have here, it's the Wendigo is a demon in that mutated after participating in cannibalism. Why? Lives in cold, dark places and feeds upon human flesh. Of course, it is said to love campers, since it's basically like leaving cookies out for Santa. Oh God, that's like not good to laugh, but
I have to laugh. I wrote it and it's great. But I mean, come on, it is. Like, they're the perfect snack. They're just sitting there, open and available, unable to fight back. So it's like Santa showing up and finding cookies on the mantle. It's about the same thing. It's walked through the woods, minding its own business. Oh, look, a pile of cookies.
Oh, humans! Oh, where's the milk?
What would the milk be considered? You know what? Never mind.
But it's cookies.
Never mind.
Oh my God, this version is not venomous and does not turn people into Wendigos. And this type of creature hibernates in caves and mines for periods of time from like months to years. And this is also the type of creature that is shown in the one of my favorite shows.
My absolute favorite TV show.
And Supernatural. I love that show.
Jared and Jen's a man.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a conversation we have too much. Alright.
A little too much.
Yeah, a little too much. There's a much disputed medical condition that's actually referred to as the Wendigo Psychosis. It takes its name from the legendary creature because in the syndrome, a person that is isolated for long periods of time creates an intense craving for human flesh and an irrational fear of becoming a cannibal. Just out of nowhere, they're just fearing of becoming a cannibal, even if they're the only person in the house or wherever they're at. It mostly found in people living in regions where the creature is common, hence the namesake choice. It's usually begins in the winter when the temperatures are low and people are trapped inside because of snow and ice and bad weather. They can't get out to go get food. Food starts to run low. They go a little crazy. And it creates a psychosis in their head where they believe that they're going to turn to cannibalism and eat everybody around them, even though odds are they're not. But they believe they're going to. So sometimes when that belief gets big enough, people actually do. And it's commonly believed that the members of the Donner Party, the famous party that got lost in the mountains when they were trying to cross during the Oregon Trail, that one of them succumbed to Wendigo Psychosis and ate the rest of the party. They turned to cannibalism to survive, if you want to put it like that. But one of them succumbed to Wendigo Psychosis and decided that his buddies looked like a nice snack.
Yummy.
Yeah, human chicken nuggets.
Dinner is served.
Yeah. Yeah. Faith healers and shamans are generally the people who they're turned to help cure the psychosis. They generally do healings on it, but there have been some documented cases where they have had to put the person down because while receiving treatment, they'll turn and decide to go eat somebody. And once they've become a danger to the public, of course, they have to be dealt with in the best way possible. This condition dates back hundreds of years, with one extremely well-documented case in 1661 of a gentleman getting it and then receiving legitimate hospital and medical care. And they've extensively studied it. Now, it is 1661, so it is very primitive as to how well they studied it. But if you get a chance, look that up and read the story of this gentleman. It happened in Canada. And
there is an other case, it also happened there too. His name was Swift Runner, and this was in 1878. Him and his family, 6 kids. They were in a cabin, and it was winter, so you can't go nowhere.
No.
And they were all starting to starve to death, and his eldest son was the first one to die. And there was even a emergency food supply about 25 miles from where they were at. But instead of trying to make his way there, he instead killed and ate the rest of his family,
The wife and the kids.
the 5 other kids. And and once spring came, he eventually confessed, and he was later executed.
At Fort Saskatchewan, wasn't it? Didn't it say Fort Saskatchewan on
Yes.
that? Yes. Fort Saskatchewan, the soldiers took him there and executed him at the fort for his crimes, which they considered just murder. In reality, he succumbed to Wendigo Psychosis and ate his entire family.
Disturbing. Like, I don't know.
It's less disturbing that he succumbed to the psychosis and ate people. It's more disturbing that in whole he ate 7 people. 6 kids and his wife.
Whew.
He ate 7 people in whole when there was a food bank 25 miles away. He didn't just eat one to get enough energy to make the trip. Like, he ate 7 people over the winter.
Oh my god. Oh man. I could only imagine what
7
people were going through. Oh my god.
Imagine the other kids waiting to die trapped in the house.
Yeah, and whenever I went through this stuff, I never got the ages of them, but I can only imagine.
We should pitch this as a movie.
A movie?
Call it like Swift Runner and pitch it as a horror movie where like 7 people are stuck in a house with a guy that turns into a cannibal and starts eating his whole family.
Oh my god. That would be a good one. It'd be a
Would
good,
be a really
scary
good
one.
That would scare deadly something. I don't watch horror movies anyways. I'm a wit.
And the legends and sightings of this creature began decreasing starting in the 20th century. This could be due to more people starting to move, and new generations doubting the whole legend and not being scared. Or it could also be it could be because of the Native American tribes that were starting to decrease the Wendigos. And it could also be deforestation or just pure lack of the Wendigos.
It's also that there's more food that is readily available, so people aren't starving to death anymore. Therefore, they're not getting the psychosis and going crazy.
Mm-hmm. And that's true. And then in the 20th century, that's when the phone was made.
Yeah,
there
so
was
you
more
weren't so
communication.
Isolated and locked in your house. You know, if you were snowed in, you could call somebody and be like, hey, I'm snowed in. I've got no food. Are you able to get out and bring me some food? Or able to get out and like dig open my door or help me out a little bit here? And also, I just thought of firearms. Firearms became more sophisticated, so it became easier to hunt. Like you were no longer...
It became easier just to get.
You were no longer hunting with bows and stuff. You know, native tribes were starting to get firearms and stuff, so it became easier to hunt and stock up more food for the winter. Because now we also had electricity and better ways of storing food.
That is true.
That weren't just stuff it in a hole in the ground. That's effective though, because the ground stays so frozen.
Yes.
Watch the last good documentary. The ground stays so frozen that they can literally just dig a hole in it and basically create a meat cellar.
I was just about to say that I saw somebody had a giant hole dug, and that's where they put their whale meat.
Yeah, I saw the same video.
Yes.
The native girl with the beluga whale?
Yes!
Yes, okay, same video. Yes, they dig
Same
a hole in
thing.
the ground and they put the food in it, and the frozen tundra stays like so frozen and so much permafrost that year round it's like the temperature of a freezer down there. It stays below freezing.
A free freezer.
A free freezer.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Mother Nature.
Right?
Wendigo sightings are rare, but there are still a few that pop up every now and again. I believe Wendigo's real. What do you believe? Tell us in the comments and be sure to watch every Thursday to see what legend we bring you next. Next week is the Jersey Devil. Last week was the Bigfoot, so if you missed it, go check it out. I'll link it down below so that you can find it easier. Thanks for watching.